All righty, we're getting ready here.
Good.
All right, we are live on Facebook. We'll give it 30 seconds. Welcome everyone to our Women Empowering Women educational webinar. We are thrilled to be here today. Excited to talk to you. And let me share my screen here and we will get started. Let me find my... So if you're tuning in, please, let's make sure the chat works. So tune in, just type in the chat where you're tuning in from. That way I can see. And this will also be the way that we will facilitate questions in this webinar. So anytime you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat box. We'll either answer them at that time or at the end, we will make sure to come back and answer all of your questions. Let's see, did it not share my screen? Here we go, share.
There we go.
There we are. Excellent. Where did my chat go? Here we are. Oh, I love it. Look at everyone from Oregon, from Massachusetts, from New York. Excellent. Corvallis, Oregon, Washington, Pacific Northwest. We have amazing representation all over the nation. So this is really exciting. Connecticut, excellent, welcome. Well, we are honored to be here today. We wanted to do something special for celebrating women all across the world and really empower you with financial education. And then hopefully at the end of today, you will take a step forward and build a strong financial future. So let's get started. So I am Julia Carlson. I'm the founder and CEO here at Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group. And today I am honored to have with me Catherine Valega. Catherine is a certified financial planner. She is a wealth advisor on our team. Tuning in, she's joining us from our Boston location. So Catherine, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is so exciting. I am so excited. We were just talking about how there's so much buzz in the air in support of women. Julia and the team at Financial Freedom are amazing, and they know that personally, I've been in financial services for over 2 decades, and I have 4 daughters. So this is sort of very near and dear to my heart in financial empowerment and helping women take the steps to create their own financial journey and financial destiny. So happy to have everybody here with us.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. And this was actually your idea. You came to us and said, we have to do a webinar for women on International Women's Day. So here we are.
Love it.
Excellent. So we have a lot of guests today with us, and we also have some dear clients with us. So welcome to everyone. So I'll set the stage a little bit and talk about who is Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group. First of all, we have been serving clients for over 2 decades. I started this business at the turn of the century. And it's really, I'm very blessed to have found my passion early in life. I was licensed as a financial advisor when I was 20. It's been my only career, and I just absolutely love it. And we are a comprehensive wealth management firm committed to caring deeply about our clients and their financial lives. We serve a lot of different folks, but today I want to hone in right in women in transition. So this could mean a lot of things. We help widows. We help women going through the divorce process. We help women transitioning into their careers and trying to figure out how do they build this strong financial future for themselves. We help women on the other side of that successful career where they've built their nest egg and now they need to move into retirement successfully. Or maybe it's a mom going back to work and building a career and having to do some makeup in your financial life. And so we can help build those plans in all those different transition periods. Our core values at Financial Freedom Wealth Management include treating all people with respect, never compromising our integrity, delighting our clients, and really embracing our team culture. That's one thing that I feel differentiates us from a lot of other wealth advisors out there, is that we truly work together as a team in serving our clients. And our focus is to help create a plan for your dreams and continuously inspire you to pursue financial freedom. We believe everyone can feel that financial freedom. And oftentimes it just takes the start. It just takes that first step of moving down that path to, you may not be financially independent today, but having financial freedom means you know you're on your way. You know you're doing everything to get to where you need to go. So again, we were founded in 2000, in the year 2000. We currently have clients in 37 states, so we're proud of that. We have a team of 7 wealth advisors and 11 support staff. We are partnered and supported by LPL Financial. They are our broker dealer. And we have 7 physical locations in the Pacific Northwest here, and then also in Boston. But today we're living in a very virtual world. So we serve clients all over, much like this platform, in a virtual way. All right, well, let's get to celebrating women. And so I'm going to turn this over to Kat, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the history of International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. This is so exciting. So yeah, let's give a little bit of the flavor. So in 1908, there was a women's march in New York City, and the women were fighting for shorter work weeks, better pay, and the right to vote. Fast forward a couple of years, in 1911, there was a similar demonstration in Europe. And now today we find, so more than 100 years later, March 8th annually is one of the most important days of the year for women. International Women's Day really supports 4 key principles: to celebrate women's achievements, to raise awareness about women's equality, to lobby for accelerated gender parity, and to fundraise for female-focused charities. This year's theme, so the 2021 theme, and you may have seen this out on social media with the hashtag, is Choose to Challenge. And that is what we're throwing out there today, that we challenge you guys to listen open-mindedly, ask questions, discuss these concepts with your friends and your family. And we're really going to challenge you. We're going to empower you, give you some great tools, and challenge you to take a small step. Julia said it. It really just takes that small step towards achieving your own financial freedom. So let's turn to some daunting realities. So you may have heard of Lilly Ledbetter. She in 2009, she led the March for the Fair Pay Act. And she's still in the news talking about the fact that women earn less per dollar. One of the recent statistics is 81 cents per dollar. My guess is fast forward out of COVID, and this number may actually even look a little bit worse. But the fact that we're earning less per dollar than our fellow men in the similar jobs really creates this knock-on effect, where it's impacting our earnings, it's impacting our ability to contribute to Social Security, it's impacting our ability to contribute to retirement plans, et cetera. And Social Security earnings also. So as a financial planner, when we get to those ages of planning for retirement, we talk about, what are our guaranteed sources of income? And Social Security is a large part of that. Well, for women on average, we're looking at less than $15,000 a year in guaranteed income, while men are closer to $19,000 a year in Social Security earnings. And this is just sort of one piece of the pie for women and our financial reality. But let's turn to some positive statistics, right? So we have a lot of potential. So today in the US, women control 51% of all wealth, approximately $22 trillion. And this number is growing annually. That's so exciting. And in terms of entrepreneurship, women are leading and founding more businesses than ever. If we look back 20 years ago, our numbers have exploded more than 114%. And today, women run or lead or have founded more than 40% of all US businesses. So we're making a lot of progress and we are working so hard. That's so exciting. But we still have our challenges. So this is something that we're going to talk about today. So some of the common financial planning challenges, right? Julia had mentioned it earlier. So very often we fall victim to spouses dying early or going through divorce. We also have the realities of caring, right? We tend to be really empathetic and caregivers. So we take care of our kids and then we take care of our parents. And sometimes you've heard, sometimes we're doing that at the same time. And so we may be losing time out of the workforce. We also live longer. And then another thing that impacts us, and I do see this daily in talking to my clients, is that we tend to be fearful of kind of making a mistake. And so I like to say, we'll talk about this a little bit later too, is that we don't lack the competence to make the right decisions, but we do lack the confidence. And sometimes this results us in being a little too conservative with our plan. So we hope today to empower you with some tools to develop more confidence to become investors.
Yes, I love that. It is all about confidence. And where does confidence start? I believe it starts with having that desire. I love this quote by Napoleon Hill: to achieve anything, you need a burning desire. So all of you are here today. Let's celebrate that. You have a desire to learn about financial stuff, investments and building a strong financial future, all of those things that are important. So congratulations, first you're here. So let's talk about building confidence, building freedom, because I think freedom and confidence kind of go hand in hand. So let's start with desire. So on the top right, desire, we have a desire, we want what we want, but that has to lead to action. So that has to lead to a decision, making a decision, saying, I'm going to go for it. Decision is actually to cut off other alternatives, right? So really decide you are going to build a strong financial future. And then once you make that decision, what do you need next? You need a commitment, you need determination, dedication to keep going. Because guess what? Things happen all the time to our finances that derail us. I just spent a week in Texas with my girls and spent way more money than I planned to. But I know that I just need to get back on track and do the habits that I've done for 15 years to get me to where I'm at now, right? So that's getting off track. And then that determination brings us back and staying motivated for the long term. That determination over time, the more that you do or you use determination, that creates discipline, that creates habits, it creates a way of life. And that discipline then doesn't need as much willpower anymore because it's just part of what you're doing. And then that discipline is ultimately what lands you at freedom, this feeling of I can do it, which is ultimately confidence. I'll tell you an example. My husband and I were in it was kind of like a Dancing with the Stars competition. It was a fundraiser to raise money for a local charity. And we both, I really wanted to dance. I have danced a little bit in my life, but my husband has not danced at all. So, and they don't pair you with a pro. You have to like do it with your partner. So you're both amateurs going into this. So first, I had the desire that I wanted to do this. I made the decision for both of us. You probably need a little bit more team buy-in next time. But I said, husband, I'm doing this and I need a partner and I'd like it to be you. And oh, by the way, we're going to learn tango, which is probably one of the hardest dances out there. So we made the decision. We were determined. We showed up to our practices for a good 6 months and learned the discipline of it. And we didn't learn just the dance that we did on stage. We actually learned to tango. And then that created freedom. So when we kind of messed up in our can someone help me with this word? Choreography, thank you. On stage, we actually could do it because we had the freedom, because we learned the dance, right? So that's kind of an example of how this works. You can teach it to your kids. Anything that you're learning new, this is the cycle that we go through. And the more that we do it and get back on the cycle, the more we build our confidence. So this is no different in investing and working with your money. We have to build that investment confidence. And a lot of that starts with a desire to learn and get educated, which is what we're doing now. And this is a fun thing I think they say here. Women are as financially literate as men, but their confidence isn't
commensurate.
Thank you. With their acumen. So men will more just go for it because they have the confidence, where women are more shy. They're going to hold back and won't do it because of the lack of confidence. So, but yet women want to get more engaged with their finances. 92% wanting to learn about financial planning and 83% wanting to learn about investing within the next year. It's been watching over the past year. I think more people have had more time in their schedule. I've seen a lot of my friends just get more engaged with their money, paying off debt. People are saving more. I think this is just a really good time to really take action on your finances. And women are protective of their assets. So I think this could be a downfall, which we're going to talk about, is women tend to be more safe with their money. So maybe they have it at the bank. They choose a more conservative portfolio in their 401k. And over time, that compounds to where you're not building a nest egg that you could be building potentially with a better investment strategy. So I know we're going to talk more about that. So Kat, I'll turn this back over to you.
Thank you. And, you know, I would just add one thing to the prior slide. So based on what you said on your dancing, I think it's so important that women, we tend to, we want to be perfectionists, right? And we're afraid to take a decision for fear that it's going to be the wrong one. And, you know, money, you have to just start trying, right? And you have to educate yourself and get involved. And if you don't make the right answer, that's okay. We can correct, right? So don't let the sort of fear of making a mistake paralyze you from taking that first step also. And I think your example, Julia, of the dancing was perfect. Like, you guys were willing to make mistakes and try it, and then you were able to figure it out on the fly and still have a really good time. So I think that was a really cool example. So now we're going to turn to the empowerment part of the presentation and really trying to empower you guys to become investors. So we use Empower also as an acronym, and it's a neat way to think of all the different steps for your financial journey. And we are going to go through each one of them, but just briefly. E, evaluate your situation. What does that mean? M, manage your finances. How do you take the first step of actually managing your own finances? Planning for your future. We're all about how do we achieve our goals. Owning and protecting our assets, working with financial advisors, educating yourself, and then reviewing, because this is a process that doesn't just end once you get to the R, but we're going to continue to review and go back to the beginning. And really, think of empowering yourselves as trying to create your dream and creating a goal and making it actually into an actionable plan for financial success. So we're excited to empower you throughout this journey.
Excellent. Okay, so E is for evaluate. And I added this because I like this. Want what you want. There's no shame here, no justifying. It's okay. I'm giving you permission to want what you want. So whether that be money to go on a trip, money to buy shoes, or to go shopping, or to send your kids to school, or to retire early, to help your favorite nonprofit fulfill its mission, right? That all of those things, we want what we want, and that is okay. It's actually better than okay. It's fabulous. And so number one is understanding what drives you. What are your priorities? What do you value? A good way to look at this is look back to see, how have you spent your money in the last 90 days? Like last week, I spent a lot of money, but guess what? I planned for that. Well, maybe not as much, but like I was investing in memories, like taking my girls who are 18 and 13 to a day spa for the first time and giving them that experience, to having them. We went to the rodeo. My daughter's a barrel racer, and she wanted to see her favorite barrel racer compete live. And so we did that. Like those are things that are important to me to build that time for my girls. And so that was okay for me to spend that money and want that. So understand what that is for you. Number two, these are your responsibilities. So this is your paying your debts, your mortgage, your education, supporting parents, all the things that we have to have in life, right? These are more of the needs. So you have to understand, how am I going to take care of those? And then three, your dreams, right? Your travel, your second home, the lifestyle, a lot of the things I was talking about, those are the lifestyle things that I want to have in my life. So the key is accepting those, naming them, putting goals behind them. I wasn't always able to do what I did last week, but I was willing to do the work to get me to where I could do that. And that's the secret, is willing to do the work of putting that plan in place to get you to where you want to go. Part of the evaluate is understanding where you're at. So let's, Kat, I'm going to send this over to you for this one.
Yeah, thank you. And let me just say, Julia, I love that you say want what you want. I think it is so refreshing in the world of women and finance, right? Because we're sort of taught to like save for college and save for this, but the reality is there's all kinds of things that we may want to do and achieve in our life, and who's the judge of that? No one. It's only ourselves, right? So I think that is such a refreshing way to look at things, and ideally, we're going to give some tools to help you not only think about what you want, but actually how to also start thinking about achieving all of that. And it's all good. You have the permission to go out there and just dream and get excited. But we still have some realities of sort of nitty gritty financial, money things. So let's talk about this a little bit. So your FICO score, your credit score. So credit scores are really important. It's a scale of 300 to 850. And the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rates are going to be when you need to access credit, whether it be mortgage or credit card debt or auto loan, right? So it's important to understand your credit score, review your credit history for accuracy. There are mistakes made. And the other thing I also like to add here is that there are three major credit unions: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And these three basically own our financial life. Well, what happened several years ago is Equifax was hacked, which was infuriating to me, but that's a whole other story. So they were hacked, and potentially our social security numbers were kind of thrown out there in the system. So I actually like to tell my clients to consider doing what's called a credit freeze. And what this does is you contact each of these three companies, and you really should do all three. And you say, I'd like to freeze my credits. It doesn't mean you're never going to get credit. It just means if someone were to grab your identity, they can't get credit on your behalf. So you freeze the credit, and if you have teenage daughters who are now starting, or teenage children in general who are starting their own credit lives and scores, I would do the same thing. Just get them in the habit. Sometimes you have to call and unfreeze if you're going for car loan. Sometimes new jobs will request a credit score, but freeze your credit so no one else can access it. The other side of the evaluate your situation is insurance. So I typically tell my clients that as soon as they're adults, they need to consider life insurance, disability, or what we call income insurance. And then eventually there's a sweet spot for long-term care insurance as well. And that's also coupled with reviewing annually your what we call property and casualty insurance. So auto, home, umbrella liability. If you haven't heard that phrase, it's something that you should consider. We highly recommend that you have an umbrella liability policy. And then another thing we've seen this year is a lot of us have had to hire home help, right? So it might be tutoring or additional help around the home so we can continue to work. Some states are requiring workers' comp if you have home help for certain amounts of hours. So review your coverages annually, talk to somebody, make sure you have the right coverages. And then the last piece of the pie I also like to say is, even if you are, if you have a spouse who is the primary breadwinner and you are mostly taking care of children or completely, you should consider life insurance on you as well, because if something happened to you, how do you recreate the amount of value? And really, I say we're all earning $100,000 a year. We're just not necessarily getting paid for it in terms of what we're doing in caring for our children and taking care of the food and whatever else we may be doing. So it's not just for the breadwinner, but for the other party in the couple, even if they're not earning as much. So reviewing your insurance regularly is really, really important. So that's it for the E. I'll turn it back to Julia for turning towards the M in managing your finances.
Yes, so the M stands for manage your finances. And so where do you start? I like to say it's kind of like going on a diet, right? Where do you start? You have to step on the scale. You have to face where you're at. You have to look at the numbers and what you track improves. So here, when we're thinking about our finances, we have to look, this is where we start. We look at what are our current assets, and assets, I mean, how much money do you have in the bank? How much money do you have in your retirement plan at work or in IRAs? Do you own individual stocks or bonds? Your home, maybe a vacation home or rental property. Those are all the things that would show up on that asset side. And then on the opposite side, we have our liabilities. So this is debt. It could be credit card debt, auto loans, student loans, a mortgage. Get a piece of paper out. All you have to do is write it out. Just the simple acknowledgement of writing it all out and seeing it all on paper is so empowering, because you have a starting place. And then you can start attacking your goals, whatever those are. So it could be to become debt-free. Okay, boom, we'll make a plan to become debt-free. It could be building your assets. So you can see it's easy once you have it all on paper. How do you start building it from there? Now, if this is overwhelming to you, this is something that we do with our clients. So if you need help developing we call this a net worth statement or a balance sheet, reach out to us. We'll give you an opportunity at the end and we can help you create this. I have been doing this for me and my husband since 2007. Every quarter, I do this for us. And we actually have a quarterly meeting where we sit down and we look at our net worth, and then we decide what is going to be the priority for that next quarter. And I mean, to see the growth that's happened, not only in money, but also in our relationship, because we're united and aligned in our finances, is empowering enough. So I just hope that you can see how this works over time. It's not going to be quick, right? It takes time for this changes to happen, to implement the plan, but it will work if you stay determined and create the discipline of this process. All right, so we're staying in M for managing your finances. So have you heard of this? It's not how much money you make, but it's how much you keep. So again, this is I have seen couples that have made $60,000 their whole working career end up being millionaires because they consistently added money month in, month out to their retirement plan. And over compounding that over years created a successful retirement for them. But it is critical that you manage and know where your money is going every month. So you have your money coming in, the income, you have your money going out, and we want to make sure that that's positive at the end of that. And that way you can start saving or paying off debt. No matter, I mean, depending on where you're at in your journey, you want to focus on getting out of consumer debt first, and then transition over to building your emergency fund, building your retirement portfolio. So again, another to-do, we're tossing out lots of to-dos, but I would encourage you to take notes of what feels right for you to start with. And it could be this, it could be simply, I need to track where my money is going. Because again, like I said on the previous slide, what you track improves. So it could be, we're in the beginning of March here. It could be just a clean slate. Let's start in March. How much money do I have coming in? How am I going to spend that money? And what's left over? And then the amount left over, am I going to pay off a debt or am I going to save that? So that could be trying to simplify it here, you know, focus on one thing that you can do. And then as I referenced, if you are investing month in, month out, which hopefully we all get this to this point, when we are consumer debt free, which means credit cards are paid off, student loans are paid off, auto loans are paid off. Now it's time to start paying yourself into your future. So this is a chart that just shows if you were saving $100 a month in the dark blue or $500 a month into the light blue, over a 10-year period is the first graph, it would grow to $36,768, or if you did $500 a month, $99,000, so almost $100,000 by $500 a month. And then if you give it more time, so if we said, okay, how about 20 years, that $100 a month would go to $66,000, and then $500 a month would go to $231,000. So it takes that snowball compound effect, the longer time you have, and the obviously the bigger monthly amount that you can save. Now, this is assuming that you are investing in a 60% equities, so more growth oriented, and 40% more fixed income. So that is a moderate risk portfolio. We actually have our retirees. We have managed a lot of money for retirees. And that is how we have those portfolios allocated. So if you have more time to retirement, you could probably get a little bit more growth out of it. All right, next one. I thought this would be a really fun exercise to explain diversification. So this is actually a picture of my shoe closet. And as you can see, I have a lot of pairs of shoes. So if I were to open up my investment portfolio, it would look similar to this, a lot of different investments. So if I had only those yellow pair of sneakers, only one pair of shoes, it wouldn't work with all of my clothes and all of my outfits. So essentially, when we think about investing, you don't want to invest in just one company or one stock. You want to have a big selection of investments. So we call this diversify your portfolio. Okay, so if your shoe closet looks like this, please say, yes, Julia, you're not alone. The other thing is I cannot throw away shoes. Like I wear size 11, so sometimes it's hard to find shoes. And so
You're
it's
not
hard to
alone.
throw them away. What'd you say?
You're not alone. There's
You're not alone. Okay, good. Okay, so O is for own and protect your assets. So again, building those assets, pay yourself first. You did not go into business. You did not go work your whole career to make someone else rich. This is you. You get to be selfish here and pay yourself first. And what I want to say is the easiest thing to do is to automate that process. So whether you're automatically putting money into your retirement plan through work, or you're automatically putting it into your own IRA or a Roth IRA that you individually set up. So if you're self-employed here or you own your own business, really consider your own plan that you're setting up for yourself. That will empower you, that you're making that choice to save for your future. Okay. And it's not too late. I want to say this. It's not too late to save money for 2020 on taxes. So if you owe taxes in 2020, what you want to do is look for ways to reduce that. And most likely that will be setting up a traditional IRA, a SEP IRA, you know, some sort of retirement plan for 2020. It's not too late. We have until April 15th or until you file your taxes. If you're self-employed, whichever is later. So it's not too late. Okay, I'm going to turn this back over to Kat.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'll just add, because you and I were speaking about this the other day, and here's another tip for you when you're talking about retirement accounts, is that if you have teenage children who have actually earned an income that is taxable, so not just babysitting money might be under the table, but if they have earned income, they worked at an ice cream store, or maybe they worked, you know, wherever they're working and they're getting a 1099 or a W-2, you can actually create what we call guardian IRAs for them if they're younger than 18, or if they're older than 18, encourage them to do an IRA and you can contribute for them. But it's a really neat way to get them started. And I know Julia does this. I'm doing this with my girls too, to get them started thinking about paying themselves first for the long term, right? I think retirement sometimes is this phrase that no one really understands, but it's like, these are going to be assets that are going to be growing for you and working for you. And then the other neat thing about starting those conversations with your kids is that now you've started that. And so they are in college, they're after college, and they're handed that first, you know, paper packet of benefits, and it includes a 401k or a 403b. You're like, remember, we started that conversation years ago. Absolutely, you need to start contributing. So on those graphs that Julia was showing you earlier, the earlier you can get money in and working for you, the better, right? So doesn't mean don't start if you haven't, but if you are dealing with younger, you know, cousins or nieces or nephews or children, start having that conversation and have them pay themselves first and put some money aside in retirement accounts. And then also, so now let's turn a little bit more to own and protect. This is really estate planning. So the documents that really every adult should be considering having. A will dictate where your assets will go upon your demise, and also who will take care of your children. It establishes a guardianship, right? Healthcare proxy means who can make decisions on my behalf if I am incapacitated. And this is a really important one now too, because if you have known, I've definitely known people who have been impacted by COVID and they're in the hospital, but they can't make their own decisions. So how can you help them make those decisions, whether it's a spouse or a sister or a best friend, someone who can make decisions for you? Durable power of attorney is the same idea, but it really relates to, can they pay your bills? or make any legal decision. So especially single women, I like to say, pay a lot of attention to this. So let's say you're driving to work, or you're riding your bike to work and you get hit and now you're out. Like, who's going to pay your mortgage, right? You want to make sure someone can continue to pay these for you so that you're not going to kind of fall behind in all of this stuff. And then very often we need family trust as well. So review, if you haven't done these, find an attorney. We have attorneys to recommend, certainly in the states where we're practicing. And then also review it at least every couple of years, and more, potentially even more often if something big has happened in your life. And I know in my case, for example, Julia may feel the same way, but as I now start to have kids who are old enough, I don't need the old guardians that I had in the will. So I need to actually redo my own paperwork to say, God forbid something happened to my husband and I. Really, it's kind of my 20-year-old daughter who can help take care of things, as long as we set up our estate appropriately for her and she has the resources and schematic to do what she needs to do. So really, own and protect in estate planning and reviewing and considering. And the one last piece I will add to this is, if you have children who are over 18, I also recommend helping them at least draft a healthcare proxy and power of attorney, because once they go off on their own and they're in college, if something were to happen to them, it's not a guarantee that the parent can go in with all the HIPAA rules and whatnot. So attorneys usually have sort of lower end packages that are a little bit more cost affordable. But I do recommend having the conversation with your kids as soon as they hit 18 in your state, which is typically, most states are 18. So that's estate planning. And then we'll turn to the W for Julia now.
Yes, and I'll just add one thing on this. It's not fun to talk about when you die. That's the bottom line. And I think that's why a lot of us procrastinate on setting up our wills and our planning. And it's just yucky to think about, but it is so critical. I mean, we help a lot of widows and widowers that both have plans in place and don't have plans in place. And it is always easier to go through that grieving process with plans in place, because then you don't have to think about, what am I going to do for money? How am I going to pay the bills? All of that stuff that happens after you lose a significant other. So I would say this is probably one of the most important things that we're talking about today, is to ensure that you have a simple plan in place. It can start simply, it can become more robust with trusts and all of that. But if you need help and direction, at the end, we'll give you a resource where you can reach out to us and we can help guide you at least to where to start on this.
Perfect.
And that's a benefit of working with a financial advisor. So W in Empower is working with a partner. Everyone needs a coach. When we think about the best athletes out there, they all have coaches. They all have a guide to help them be their best. And that's no different in our industry, and working with a great financial advisor. So you don't have to do this alone. This is what we specialize in, is working with our clients, partnering with them to really make sure they have their financial goals identified and then a plan to reach them. So again, that's the name of our company is Financial Freedom Wealth Management Group. And it's financial freedom because we believe everyone can have and feel financial freedom. Our process is, number one is starting with education. So much like this, it's an educational encounter. We want you to be a smart investor and build that strong financial future. And step two is to take advantage of our comprehensive discovery, where we take you through this process to really figure out what's important to you, what are your financial goals, what do you need help with. And then step three is we come back with a tailored solution unique to you to help you get to those goals. And then step four is that guided journey. It's that continuous partnership where we come back, we review, we set new goals, we accomplish goals, we just keep going together to ultimately get you to that, end game of whether it's building a legacy, leaving it for your loved ones, retiring successfully, all those things that are important to you that we've talked about. Kat, I'll send this back over to you to recap.
Yeah, thank you. So really the last R in the process of Empower is review, right? And so in financial planning world, we always say that your financial plan is like a GPS, right? We're going to help you get to where you want to go. But it doesn't just end as soon as you've developed your plan, right? So we have worked through all the steps, but we want to make sure that we're communicating often and we are reviewing your plan. As Julia said earlier, things change. And so you have to go back and kind of revise and say, well, this was like, either a negative hiccup or maybe a positive hiccup. Maybe you just got a promotion or a huge bonus that we get to deal with. So you do want to work on your plan, but review it. It's a living, breathing process. And we love partnering with our clients throughout their entire financial journey. This is the fun part, right? Where we take some steps back and then, more steps forward. But just make sure that you don't think of it as a one and done, right? It's something that we're going to review often.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing. I love this that Ursula shared with us here. I told my 25-year-old daughter the other day that if I could give young women just one piece of advice, it is that it is never too early to start working with a financial planner. Guess what? You don't need $1 million to get started. Our minimum investment is $0. So we have plans that will help anyone get started. Okay. So if you are in the United States, we can help you. So if you stay to the end here, we'll share with you how to kind of take that next step and get started with us. But first, before we do that, we wanted to make this day extra special. And part of the mission of International Women's Day is to give back to women that are maybe less fortunate than us. And so I immediately thought of my dear friend, Amy Custer, who is joining us today. I think we have been friends since, gosh, when we were like 6, 7, 8, like
that's probably right.
over 30 years, a long time. And she is going to share with us, being a participant today, Financial Freedom has donated to the Heart of Cabby Foundation. So Amy is going to talk to us a little bit more about this amazing organization and then also invite us to a special experience. Let's talk about this.
I know, it's going to be fun. I mean, I've learned so much. So I'm just thrilled to have been here amongst you savvy women and all those that are joining in. So thank you so much, Julie and Catherine, for inviting me to be a part of this. Education is huge. As a former teacher, I can say that with a strong seal of approval there. But let me give you a little bit of background on the company that I am so grateful to have been a part of for the last 12 years. So CAIA is a beautifully diverse company that believes that clothes can actually change lives. We bring style and ideas to women along with a brand of clothing created by our amazing design team. And the reason it's so special is because our company cares about each woman's unique lifestyle and budget. As we've learned today, we run the gamut as women. We all come to life in different ways. And so CAIA agrees with that and supports that along the way as well. So as stylists, what we get to do, we educate women how to build smart wardrobes that empower them to conquer their days. We've talked a lot about empowerment. So much like building your retirement plan, it's important to build a smart wardrobe. And so we know that when you look great, you feel great. And when we feel great, guess what? We do great. So CAIA is really a wonderful place that offers a sweet spot of connection and confidence as well as convenience. But as Julia was mentioning, we are making an impact in more than just women's closets. So our Heart of CABI Foundation that Financial Freedom so graciously and generously donated to today, I want to tell you a little bit about them, because people who are attracted to CABI, they love this part of our company. Now, recent work trends today are going to tell you that we all want to feel like our work and our lives have meaning. We want to feel like that. We want to feel part of something bigger than ourselves. That's just part of what it means to be human. And this has been a part of CABI's legacy for years. And I have to believe that this is what contributes to the reason why so many of our stylists stay with CABI. This was our founder's dream from day one, was to build a successful business so that we could positively affect women all around the globe. And I'm thrilled to tell you that we are celebrating 15 years of our Heart of CABI Foundation, which is just amazing. Now, through our foundations, We Are CABI program, we do change lives of women in developing countries. Now, at first, these women are generally looking to earn basic money to cover basic needs like housing, safety, and food for their families. But once those are taken care of, they turn their attention to educating their children, just as we were educating ourselves today, because we know through education comes freedom from poverty. So CABI has partnered with Opportunity International to help on the education front as well. And we are currently supporting 10 schools in Rwanda, providing resources that enable them to invest in their physical buildings, hiring teachers, adding computer labs, and just so much more. So our clients and our stylists are able to contribute by rounding up their order totals, and that change is definitely making a change in the world. And then each season, CABI also designates one item as our Heart of CABI Foundation piece. So this season, it's the replay top that you see here. And not only is it exploding with color, it's exploding with opportunity too, because the proceeds from that top allow us to keep doing good both locally and around the world. So together, we have been able to donate over $60 million in clothing donations, as well as fund over 17,000 small business loans to women entrepreneurs in developing countries. And we're committed to doing our part here at CABI, and we're just so grateful that we have so many women coming alongside us to help us. Now, stylists here at CABI are very intimately involved in the foundation. So as an example, when natural disasters occur, which we know happen, whether in the US, Canada, or the UK, stylists actually gather together to serve in clothing distribution events in their local communities as they help women rebuild their wardrobes and their confidence. And I'm thrilled to share that in the spring of 2020, we also partnered with World Vision to provide meal kits as well as PPE for the medical staff serving on the front lines during COVID. Clients and stylists made cash donations, and then they were met by CABI, which was awesome. So to me, it feels so good to be a part of a company that just is so equipped and prepared to do such good. And so as Julia was teasing a second ago, if you would like the opportunity to see firsthand what CABI has to offer, Julia and Catherine and I would like to invite you to a really fun virtual fashion experience. And it's taking place this Thursday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Eastern girl. And you are going to have an exclusive seat at our very own front row platform. So you're going to get a link to join us and RSVP in your follow-up email. And just because giving is what we're doing today, I'll keep the giving going. And for every woman that joins us on Thursday, I'll donate another $5 to the Heart of CABI Foundation. We are going to have a blast, that's guaranteed. And I hope that all of you join us. So look for that link to jump on in and join the fun.
Yeah, I actually put the link too in the chat. So if you click on that, that'll take you to the RSVP where you'll get all the information for the show. Excellent. Okay, so but what we thought we would do is we are all wearing CABI today. So we're gonna it's kind of hard. I think we should stop the share for the moment. Let's stop sharing for a moment. Let's just have some fun. So you can explain what I am wearing here.
So first of all, if you just look at the grid right now, I don't know if you've got it in gallery or if you're in screen or in speaker mode, but Julia is rocking our sunshine top and our Sunday cardigan. all of the colors here are exploding. Like, I love that our spring line is so full of colors. Optimistic dressing, sleeve details are super important. And I love how she mixed and matched it. Actually, everything all of us have on, we can intermingle. And that's, I like to call it Garanimals for women, right? We can just dress it up in different ways. And so I love that cardigan. It pops, that French violet pops in so many different ways. Actually looks gorgeous with the Heart of Cabby piece too. And then Catherine is wearing our Imperial Blazer, which is our Ponte fabric, which is, I call it street legal pajamas is what I call it, because it's super comfortable. You can dress up and look so cute. You can actually drive, if you're able to drive where you are, to places, and then people can see how cute you are. Sometimes you get dressed and you're like, I don't feel comfortable, but I look good. So this comfort is beautiful. And I love that it is a tight print, but it can easily print mix too. And then Sammy is looking fantastic down there. She is doing some print mixing today. She's got on our catwalk blouse, which skin print is still in, it is timeless. And she has over top of it our checkup blazer. So while we're checking up our finances, you can check up your outfit and your closet and make sure that you're looking all great. I love the functioning button details. And she was telling me when she put it on, she's never had a blazer that felt so comfortable. So it almost feels like a sweatshirt, the material of that checkup blazer. So you can look polished, but still be perfectly comfortable too. And I've got on our mod bomber jacket. I love our Victoria print cami because wallpaper print is very in. It's very Balenciaga and Prada. So it's kind of fun to pull it all together. So I hope you'll join us on Thursday. We're going to have a fun time finding pieces that enhance your wardrobe and empower you to feel good and keep doing great things in your world.
Excellent. Thank you, Amy. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing on behalf of Amy?
Yeah.
This blazer, I wish I could show you. My camera's not showing me the right, but it is so comfortable. I swear I'm never going back to like another type of blazer. I want all my blazers to be made in similar fashion.
I have been wearing Cabby for probably how many years, Amy? 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
Like almost my whole closet is Cabby. I love it because it's like that business casual. You dress it up, dress it down. It's just perfect. So come on Thursday, join us then. The link's in the chat, and we'll also send that in the follow-up email as well. And I just want to do a shout out to Sammy. Sammy is our marketing coordinator here at Financial Freedom. It's great to see you on a webinar, Sammy. She is behind the scenes doing everything for us with these webinars. So it's really great. Okay, so for next steps here, so again, our services, we do all things financially related. So investment management, if you're just getting started and creating that plan for yourself, if you're a business owner and you need to think about exit planning, tax reduction planning, like who doesn't want to save money on taxes? That's all of us. So this is all the different things that we offer. If you are interested in a complimentary consultation with one of our wealth advisors, most likely Catherine, and we will help you with that, you can text the word freedom to the number 458-777-4458, and we will make sure to get you scheduled. And then we will also, everyone that is joining in today, we have a special gift that we want to send you actually by snail mail. So you can either text your address, do the freedom, and then it'll prompt you to add the address. So you can give it to us that way. You can email it to us at financial.freedom@lpl.com. Or when you get the follow-up email, you can reply to that email with your physical address. So we do need a physical address because we're actually going to mail you a little treat for being here. All right. And lastly, just a little bit, LPL again is our broker dealer. LPL stands for Linsco Private Ledger, which were two companies that merged back in the 80s. We're the largest independent broker dealer in the nation. And all of our securities licenses are held with LPL Financial. And then lastly, here is some important disclosures. I'll allow you to read them here. But we just want to say thank you very much for spending an hour with us today. We're honored that you did that and celebrating women all over the world. And next, I will kind of open it up for questions, and we'll stay here as long as you need us to. But before that, let me go back to this slide so we get the number here. All right, is there a copy of the slides? Yes, so we will have a complete replay of this available to you. So if you were registered for it, you will get that email. So yes. Thank you, great job, thank you. Great webinar. Yes, please share with your daughter. That would be fabulous. Thank you for coming. Thanks for the feedback. Great, I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.